I love the hustle, man.
Yo, what's up with it, man? Had
Yes,
to come on here and record,
sir.
man.
Man. So we back. So it's been a couple weeks or whatever since we've been on, man. Apologize for that. I feel like I keep saying that to y'all. We're going to get it right. I promise y'all. But the good thing about it is we always come back, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We always come
definitely.
back. But it's just been really hard. Our schedules be so different. So just trying to juggle it to where it's like we can get, 2 or 3 of us on here. You know what I mean? But we're making it work. We're making it rock. We are definitely moving forward with this new year, trying to be more consistent with our schedules and things like that. Dope Boy is getting a SM7B mic just like mine, so we're gonna have that consistent sound. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so if you don't get it, I already told the people you're gonna get it, so now you gotta get it.
That'll be it. No, it'll be here. It'll be here any day. I ain't gonna tell nobody when it's pulling up, but it's gonna pull up when they see me on it. They hear the sound difference and be like, all right, yeah, I feel it.
Off top. Yo,
And then I'm gonna
man.
get my fine sway right. You feel what I'm
Nah,
saying?
for real. So, the last time we were here, we were talking about Mike Brown being relieved of his coaching duties for the Sacramento Kings. And since then, Doug Christie has been named the interim coach. And he's getting off to a pretty good start, man. He got off to a 7-1 start. We just right before we started recording, the Kings just finished playing the Bucks. And lost to them.
That was a blowout.
yeah, it was a blowout. So we lost to them. So
That was a blowout.
So Doug Christie is now 7-2. But we're going to talk about some of the things that have changed since Mike Brown has been relieved of his coaching duties. But before we get to that, if this is your first time to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Drop your comments and let us know what you think about the topic today. And we're going to get straight to it, man. So Dope Boy, man. We're just gonna kind of just generalize just where we are right now with the Kings, post Mike Brown, and where we're going, what we've seen so far. What's your thoughts, man? I do want you to touch on that topic. You sent me, I think, an article in regards to Keon Ellis.
Yeah.
The writer had very good points about that, you know what I'm saying, about Keon Ellis, his role and how he's been helping the team. But, man, just overall, what's your thoughts on the Sacramento Kings right now?
Well, hey man, from what I've been seeing in the games I have caught so far, you know what I'm saying, as far as watching, they actually look like they're playing with a little bit more pep in their step, a little bit more bounce in their feet. They bought into a coach who actually had playing history, you know what I mean, and was a dog, when he was playing, during his playing days. So I felt like he talked to him, gave him a voice of reason to where they needed to go ahead and hear something different. And they started playing better. I don't know what the chemistry was when Mike Brown was there. I don't know the reason why everybody stopped believing in him. I don't know what the rift was, but evidently, once you lose control of a locker room and you start to lose some games, some changes to go ahead and start coming down the pipeline. Yeah. And he lost that locker room. That's what really pretty much cost him his job.
I think that was pretty much obvious that he. What are you doing, little dude?
Little homie trying to get some shine.
I think it was pretty much obvious that he lost the locker room. And we were hearing that there was friction between, him and some of the players. I feel like it was de'Aaron Fox. Now, speaking of that as well, just kind of going back to Mike Brown before we, kind of talk about where the Kings are right now. We saw a picture, and I'm actually, I had to put it up. I want to put it up on the screen as I'm talking about it right here. We saw a picture of Mike Brown and de'Aaron Fox having dinner the other day at a restaurant here in the Sacramento area. Just last week, I believe it was. And it's kind of funny, because people were trying to create a narrative of this picture like, oh, see, you know what I'm saying? They cool, y'all tripping. It wasn't no friction. But I took it a little differently. Okay,
how'd you take it? How'd you take it?
I took that picture as there was friction, right? Something bad happened. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was kind of like, almost like, hey, we become tight over the last few years. I don't know what happened over the last few weeks, but between those two, something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I feel like I don't know who it was that made the call, Mike Brown or de'Aaron Fox, or maybe somebody else kind of linked them up. But I feel like that was kind of like just a meeting, like, hey, let's just clear the air. You know what I'm saying? No hard feelings, or maybe there were some apologies on both ends. You know what I mean? But I feel like that was more so like a, let's clear the air. It wasn't like, hey, let me meet my guy Mike Brown for dinner. I don't think it was that. Like, And
Yeah.
a lot of people were trying to create that narrative that's what it was. And see, we told you guys there wasn't no friction. Like, nah, that's not what it was.
No, there was friction that was there for sure, and
Yeah,
you could tell, man, from body language to the interaction when they were on the court, during games, in between timeouts. So you could tell there was friction there. If you were really watching the games, you understood that
yeah.
they weren't seeing eye to eye. You know what I mean? And some of them other players probably bought into it too as well, especially when they were coming down on them. He'll probably, all right, man. You know what? I'm through playing for him. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm glad that two men can go ahead and sit down and obviously discuss wherever they did discuss when they went ahead and had their meeting.
Mhm.
I felt like that was really mature of them, for them to go ahead and both sit down and whatever issues or indifferences that they may have had, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and sit down. Let's talk. Let's figure out how to hash this out. Let's let bygones be bygones. And, we'll go about our own, our ways. You go your way, I'll go my way. But I'm still cool. Like, we don't have to have no problems.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of getting back to the Kings right now. Um, they're playing well, man. They seem to be playing
Yes.
more inspired. They seem to be playing together. Um,
Yes.
just playing like defense seems crispier. The passes are more crisp. You know what I'm saying? The shots are sharper. The communication is getting better. You see them
Yes.
talking. Even just the look, the overall demeanor of the players, the way they look. I feel like there were times where under Mike Brown his last like few games to where like they just felt like the team felt lifeless. They're just kind of playing with a flow
Yeah.
now. There's more of a flow. The
Hmm.
offense looks like an offense now more so than just ISO ball. Um,
Yes.
so I do
And
like
we and
that.
we and it's crazy because we talked about that because we did say, excuse me, that we did see a lot of ISO.
Hmm.
Fox, your turn. You go get 2, 3 buckets or 2, 3 shots.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to go ahead and defer to you. All right, now here, DeRozan, you go ahead and go get your buckets. Then you get Malik Monk that comes into the game,
Hey,
who go ahead and score just as
he stepped up.
efficient.
Speaking of him, he stepped up
Yes,
too over
yes,
this last.
yes. And that's what I was going to say. With him coming in and, fulfilling the role of Fox, he's actually stepped up his game and starting to look like the player he looked like last year before he had got hurt late in the season and ultimately ended his season early. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, no, I'm starting to see a lot more, what would I say, confidence in other players saying, all right, you know what? When the ball rotates to me, if I'm wide open or if I can go ahead and drive to go ahead and get a bucket, I'm going to go ahead and take it. Instead of saying, all right, you know what? I want to go ahead and feed Fox. I want to feed DeRozan, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of be lackadaisical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to go ahead. It doesn't need to be that. Like
Now,
you said, as long as the ball's rotating and stuff like that, it's gonna help you out.
one of the things that
Ultimately,
I noticed during the start of the season that we kind of weren't getting off to, excuse me, the best start was I felt like Keegan was regressing,
yes,
and
yes. We talk about that. Yeah,
and I was like, man, because like when you look at the previous 2 seasons, he was almost, people were talking about, hey, yo, was he the third star? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was
yeah,
playing that
definitely.
well, over the course of those, especially last season, and coming into the summer, coming from the summer into last season, things like that. I was almost saying like, man, he could be a 20 point a night
Oh yeah,
guy.
for sure,
But
definitely.
when
Hell
we
yeah.
got DeRozan, I felt like he kind of took a step back, and I don't know if that was Mike Brown's doing. I don't know if Keegan just was trying to find his way. But I will say this though, the last 10 games, and these stats may not like jump out at anybody right now, but I felt like for Keegan, this is a good confidence builder right now, especially how he started the season. The last 10 games, he's
Yeah.
averaging about 11 points, 6 rebounds, and about 1 assist a game.
Okay. How's he shooting percentage wise?
Percentage wise, let's see, just under about 40%. About
Okay, so
forty
you need that
percent.
to go ahead and step.
Yeah, about 40%.
You need that step up a little bit more as
From
far as
from
the efficiency for that for sure.
from
But we
three.
we, we talked. I think we talked about it though. Even
I was gonna say
okay,
from three, he's shooting 36%. Um, one thing I do like
okay,
too over the last 10 games, he had 2 games to where he had 12 rebounds in a game.
12
Love
rebounds. That's
that,
good.
and I feel like
That's definitely good.
that's something
Especially from an undersized
undersized.
Sacramento team.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that. If you don't really, understand or you're really not watching it like that, the Kings are very undersized, and we seen it tonight when they played against the Bucks. But what I was going to say about the Keegan Murray comment is that Mike Brown did give him the green light to ultimately say, "Hey, look, bro, when you got your open looks, You got to take him. But like we talked about him, like you
seem
said,
like when the season started, that kind of like something changed, and I don't know
yes,
if Mike Brown changed the direction of Keegan's role, or if he told him to, you know, hey, kind of lay back a little bit, only shoot. I don't know. Something got in Keegan's head. I feel like it's mental right now for Keegan.
Mental, yeah, no, it's definitely mental.
Unless he's dealing with something physically that's kind of nagging him that I don't know about. Maybe that could be it too. I don't know though.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, if he can go ahead and continue to play the way he's been playing on this, well, at one point it was what 6 games or 5 game winning streak, 6 games, wasn't it? 7 game winning streak. You know, ultimately, I feel like they were to go ahead and go in here into Milwaukee and win another one for its eighth. You know what I'm saying? At some point, your team's gonna go ahead and fizzle on out eventually. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about that.